Communication is everywhere. From the day we took our first breath to this moment of hearing me having this talk, it is always present. Communication comes hand in hand with language, which makes communication in all forms possible. Then came the emergence of media, which has expanded communication into a much more versatile field. Communication is undeniably strong. It can turn strangers into friends in a minute, turn casual relationships into romantic ones, strengthen kinships over time, and even destroy everything I had just mentioned. As what the old adage says, no man is an island. Us, human beings, are innately social beings that cannot live without the idea of communicating with one another. It all starts in our homes, in our families who introduce us to the realities of the world. Communication in each household is as important as feeding ourselves food, for this nourishes every aspect of our life we share with our loved ones. Take this for an example. A few blocks away from our house lives a little boy whose name is Kim, with their house helper Mai. Kim's parents have been living in the city proper, for their eatery business stands there, going home only every Sundays. The boy who lived with their house helper has grown an emotional attachment to her, even to the point of choosing her over his mom at some occasions. From this example, we can see how communication have affected the supposedly close relationships between family members because of the lack of time the parents invest on their children. Communication is also observed in the community as a whole. Families living in a certain residential area come together to build relationships with one another, igniting the spirit of pakikisama and bayanihan. It is very nice to see neighbors living harmoniously every day, not having any form of conflict and misunderstanding. One thing that helped communication be enacted in a much easier and faster way is the media, which has been linked to communication ever since its emergence had started. Through it, sending and receiving information from people who we haven't interacted with personally became possible. It also became a bridge between families who are separated by seas and oceans for them to regularly update on each other's happenings. However, there is always another side of the story. Media did not only affect us in a positive way, it also affected our lives in a way we did not expect it to be. People nowadays became too independent with the use of media for communicating as if they have forgotten how it is much better to interact in person. Back when I was still a kid, I used to play until dusk, making a lot of memories with my friends. But now, it's sad to see our neighborhood being tranquil in afternoons, not even seeing a squad of kids shouting and jumping out of fun. Kids who are supposed to be playing physical games outside now prefer to be at home, in front of the screens of their newly bought Macs and iPads. They also have more friends online than in real life, the sad reality nowadays. I have known this one kid who is very much exposed to different kinds of media, the television, the radio, and most especially the internet. This kid always looks for his favorite toy, his tablet, and is always on the computer when his gadget's dead. He already knows how to read at the early age of 4, but failed to learn how to communicate. Whenever he interacts with people, he just blurts out random words without having any meaning or context to understand. These issues I have observed in our community can all come down to one solution, and that is to increase the amount of time we spend away from our gadget screens. This is the only way we can rekindle the kind of relationship we once lost. In this digital age we are living at, the use of the media is certainly a necessity. From getting news updates to communicating with people miles away from us to entertainment, it is indeed very useful. However, we should not simply rely on these platforms to live the kind of life we deserve to experience. Communication and media always come together. Media exists as a way to communicate, and communication has expanded because of media. But this should be used with the perfect balance to both make the best out of these two intertwined fields.